Welcome, 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 Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. All I can say is, wow. What is going on, Gregory? What is going on, Spider-Man? All I can say is, wow. The Dallas Cowboys have suspended. I'm assuming it's a one-game suspension, but the Dallas Cowboys have suspended Ezekiel Elliot. I'm in disbelief. There are not too many times when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys, y'all. It's not too many times. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's not too many times when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys that I can truly tell you that I'm shocked. I am literally shocked that Ezekiel Elliott has been suspended. And I'm just wondering, what happened? I've looked at some stories, and no one's necessarily saying what he did. But Zeke is not making the trip. He's not making the trip. I don't know about y'all. Y'all tell me. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I'm just thinking about how hard that when you think about, y'all remember when the NFL suspended Ezekiel Elliott? Do y'all remember how hard Jerry Jones went for Ezekiel Elliott? Jerry Jones went hard for Ezekiel Elliott. It was like he was trying to take this thing to the Supreme Court. Jerry went hard for Ezekiel Elliott. And you know that if Zeke is being suspended, and let me not say necessarily suspended. Let me not use that. But it's basically saying that Zeke, and let's look at what's being reported here. Fish Sports, he kind of broke this on Twitter. Let me see. Let's bring this over here. Look at this. I'm pretty sure a lot of you have seen it. Breaking news. As Ezekiel Elliott cut from travel party for disciplinary reasons. What? What? I'm sure the story is going to leak out eventually, whatever it is that he's done. But Zeke is not going to play. Zeke is not going to play on Sunday. I'm telling y'all. And I'm going to stay on this Zeke thing for just for a moment. And then I'm going to talk about the ramifications of this. Spider-Man, he must have done something really tragic for Jerry to sign off on this. Man, I'm telling you, Spider-Man, it must be something that the league, and I could be totally wrong. And the reason why I'm going out on a limb, because Jerry Jones is just not a disciplinarian. He's not a disciplinarian. So it's making my mind wonder. Now, I could be totally wrong. I like to talk facts. So I don't want to get too far off into the unknown. But it makes me believe that it must be something serious. Woo, Gregory. Pride comes before the fall. It must be something serious for Jerry Jones to not let Zeke travel to Atlanta. It must be something serious, y'all. Y'all let me know if y'all hear if there's something that you're hearing on the wire that I have not heard. I'm looking right here currently. I'm looking right here currently at X, formerly known as Twitter, and everybody's kind of reporting the same thing. They're not saying what he's done, but it's big. Everybody's talking about it. Did not travel to Atlanta because of disciplinary reasons. Because of disciplinary reasons. Wow. Wow. Yep, especially when it comes to Jerry guys. I mean, think about it. Jerry brought him back to the Cowboys. And I'm telling you, and I'm going to get off into this in a few moments, but I want to make sure, everyone understands. Some people might come in late. They might not get it. I don't wish bad on anybody. I don't wish bad on anybody. I mean, these guys, I know they make a lot of money. A lot of people say, I don't believe these guys overpaid. I mean, they're football players, they're professionals. They don't always act professional. They make mistakes. They do things. I don't wish bad on them. But wow. Look at the Calvin Watkins story. Okay, hold on a second. Talking about on X? Let's see. Let's pull up Calvin Watkins. All right. Let's see if he gives us some insight. Let's see. Calvin Watkins. Let's see. I hope it's a top post. Okay. Okay, he says Zeke Elliott not traveling. Let's look at this. It says Zeke Elliott not traveling to Atlanta is more for disciplinary reasons. A person with knowledge of the decision tells at DM Cowboys. He says it might be time to let Ezekiel Elliott go. The whole thing has been a mess from the moment he returned. Wow. 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 He reposted 3 hours ago. He won't travel, set to be inactive week 9 against the Falcons. Watkins, Ezekiel isn't making a trip. This is what we keep saying. Rico Dowdle and Dalvin Cook will handle the running back load. Wow. I mean, I don't really see anything. That gives me any insight on what's going on. Probably went off on a player or coach. It's funny because let's look at this article on the Athlon. I'm starting to wonder if there's some validity to that, Michelle, because I notice how this article is written by Mike Fisher. Now, I'm going to read this. Watch how it's written. Ezekiel Elliott has been less than pleased about his role, and suddenly now it seems like he might not have one. As the Dallas Cowboys travel to Atlanta on Saturday, it seems the faded two-time NFL rushing champion is not traveling with the team and is being left off back in Frisco for what multiple reports are terming disciplinary reasons. Dallas is 3-4 and has the league's worst rushing attack, with Elliott playing a key role. But in the matchup with the Falcons Sunday, it would be apparently Rico Dowdle and Dalvin Cook, another veteran just called up from the practice squad today for the second time today, who will carry the load. And everybody just keeps saying it's disciplinary reasons. Now watch this. DLLS, and I think this is Clarence Hill's thing, reports that it is my understanding that Elliott was left behind for disciplinary issue has been building for a while. Wow. So what could it be? Now, if I'm reading the tea leaves that DLLS is talking about, he seems to be saying that this is friction between Zeke and the coaching staff as it pertains to his role, because that's the only thing I could think that he's talking about when he's saying that this disciplinary issue has been building for a while. So what is he talking about? What do you mean it's been building for a while? What does it mean? Probably Michelle probably went off on a player or coach. So maybe it's about what his role was going to be this way. Tired Cowboy fan said, we watching what little Zeke got left, not using him and not using him right. Well, I'm going to get on that part in a minute because I want to make sure that I want to be sympathetic. I want to show compassion and empathy because I really don't know what's going on. But it's for me, for this move to be made, and especially if it's not a disciplinary issue as far as it pertains to the league. If this is an internal issue, this is telling me that Zeke is pushing back against this coaching staff. Because you could see the frustration in Zeke's face a couple of weeks ago when Clarence Hill asked him, what do you think about your role on this team? And you know what? We can disagree. It's all good. We're all Cowboy fans. We can disagree. Zeke did nothing. Zeke did nothing to deserve to be the starter on this team. Nothing. Nothing. They made Zeke the starter because he complained. He came out and then he started after the Pittsburgh game, of which it's so strange to me how people are so misinformed about the game that Rico Dowdle had against the Pittsburgh Steelers, which is arguably the best game the Dallas Cowboys have played all season, was the game that Rico Dowdle had his best game of the season. I've talked about it ad nauseum so much, I got the stats almost memorized. He was 11 for 80. 20 for 87, 4.3 yards a carry. He was 2 for 17, I think, in the passing game, 1 touchdown. And I don't find it to be strange. They let Rico Dowdle cook that game, and they dominated. A lot of people don't realize we dominated the Pittsburgh Steelers. The only thing that stopped that score from being 31-17 is because we made a couple of vital mistakes. Dak Prescott turned the ball over. And if I'm not mistaken, one of them was in the red zone. But we manhandled Pittsburgh, and no one has done it all season except for us. Mike McCarthy, he looked like last year. He looked like Mike McCarthy out of the bye week. So Zeke did nothing to deserve to be the starter. And I think a part of this frustration that may be for Zeke, I think a part of this frustration is that what Zeke may have been promised coming to the Cowboys versus how they started using him when he got here. I'm telling us. Revelation said Revelation be killing me with some of these answers. Revelation said the SS Titanic Cowboy ship that not even God can sink has hit that iceberg called Jerry Jones and is sinking. Sinking. Hey, man, it is what it is. It is what it is. And watch this. Now, I'm laughing at people like Colin Cowherd saying he feels sorry for Joe Burrow. So let me get this all straight. Dak Prescott is being criticized by some because he's not having a top 10 year. He's not having a good year. But when we look at everything swirling around Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb not playing in training camp. CeeDee Lamb holding out. Jerry Jones not playing CeeDee Lamb. Trey Lance being pranced all through the building like he gonna be the next heir apparent. He getting to play the entire preseason game. We're the only team in the league that everybody in the preseason was talking about, not even the backup quarterback. We were talking about the third quarterback. Even the Dallas Cowboy fans were talking. Literally the Dallas Cowboy fans. I remember last year when they got Trey Lance, there were people that talked to me on my job talking about, man, Trey Lance, he may give us a chance. What? You think Kyle Shanahan gives up the farm for Trey Lance? And then when Trey Lance gets healthy, you think that Kyle Shanahan, who wants a Super Bowl worse than anybody in the league, you think he giving up Trey Lance because of Brock Purdy playing good? You miss it. Man, miss me. Kyle Shanahan won a Super Bowl so bad he asked Tom Brady to come out of retirement, and Tom wouldn't do it. You think he letting go of Trey Lance Man, we praised Trey Lance all up through the building, letting him play in the preseason. Oh, man, Trey Lance, he's going to be the – what are we talking about? He couldn't even beat out Cooper Rush. Dak Prescott sat quietly up through all of that. And not only did he sit quietly through it, Dak Prescott had a getaway for the offense and brought Trey Lance with him on the getaway. Who does that? Dak Prescott bought Trey Lance. He brought Cooper Rush. Meanwhile, listen to all the chit-chatter out there in the press. Dak Prescott gets signed the morning of the Cleveland Browns game, first game of the season. Now he's going through, he's got a young offensive line. Tyler Guyton still young, can't quite block anybody who puts a move on him. Offensive line can't block. Defense not good. Now going through all kinds of injuries on the defense. Dealing with Trayvon Diggs and Micah Parsons' mess this week. And he's going to deal with it next week, whether they win or lose this game. And now we got this thing with Ezekiel Elliot. And everybody says, we feel sorry for Joe Burrow. Dak Prescott, he said it. He's going to stay in the moment. Dak Prescott is going to have to stay in the moment. Dak Prescott is this team's only chance to win. And people can talk bad about Dak Prescott all they want to. He's their only chance. There is no other chance on the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott is it because of all of this kind of stuff. And it just makes me wonder, why? What's going on? I think Clarence Hill is giving us some breadcrumbs to what may be going on with this Ezekiel Elliott thing. Zeke is probably pushing, and maybe I'm wrong. It's hard for me to talk facts on this because we don't have enough information. So I'm just going to be honest with everyone. I'm speculating. I'm not prophesying. I'm speculating. I could be totally wrong. But something don't smell right. Something don't smell right. And I think Michelle may be right. I think Zeke may be pushing back on them because of his role. And it makes me believe, because I'm telling y'all, listen to what I'm telling you. I said it before, I'll say it again. There is no way anyone can tell me that the Ezekiel Elliott starting against the Detroit Lions, they can't tell me that was a Mike McCarthy move. They can't tell me that somebody on this team, this offense's move, because there's nothing on tape. Do y'all realize, people like Zeke so much. They were like, man, Zeke did really good against San Francisco 49ers. There was someone yesterday talking about Zeke was 4.1 yards a carry. What? He ran his average. 34 yards on 10 carries. That's his average. A little bit better, but that's his average. Still not better than Rico Dowdle. Still not better. And I think that Zeke thinks he's better than what he is, or thinks that if you give me more opportunities, I can do more. But the coaches are looking and saying, I don't think you can do more. I don't think you can do more. And it makes me wonder that maybe they had a game plan put together and that somebody said that Zeke is not going to start this week, and Zeke pushed back. Because now that I'm reading this Clarence Hill, it sounds like this is an in-house disciplinary issue. And even Mike Fisher is alluding to this has been building. What do you mean building? It can't be something that he's doing wrong so that the league is aware of, because by now, if it's been building, surely we'd have heard it by now. Sounds like something internal. Sound like something internal. Hold on a second. I got a super chat. Let me read the super chat and then I go backwards. What's up, Jay Recruiter? Appreciate the super chat. Jerry got Trey Lance in case Dak is out for a long time. Trey gives him the best chance to win over Rush. You know what, Jay Recruiter? I'm gonna agree with you. I did a video early in the preseason. I said the Dallas Cowboys are doing Cooper Rush wrong. And Jay Recruiter, I 1,000% agree with you. Trey Lance didn't beat out Cooper Rush. If something was to happen to Dak long term, we're talking 6, 7, 8 games. Cooper Rush, they'd probably give him 2, 3 games. And that would only be getting Trey Lance ready. I promise you Trey Lance would be the starter. I bet you he'd be the starter after no less than 2 games. Trey Lance will be the starter. Because you know what? I like Cooper Rush. A lot of people in Dallas like Cooper Rush. I'm not going to talk bad about Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush held us down when Dak broke his thumb. Cooper Rush is a very, what's the word I'm looking for? He's a very dependable backup. Cooper Rush can get you 3. He can get you 3 or 4 against the, kind of mediocre teams. But if you need a little razzle dazzle, if your defense is not going to hold you down, now Cooper Rush, he needs a top tier defense to hold him down. He also needs a good running game, and I mean extremely good running game to hold him down. But if you're going to put everything on Cooper Rush, it ain't going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Trey Lance, I promise everybody that if something was to happen to Dak, Trey Lance is going to be the starter. And it won't be immediately. But if it was long term, oh no, Trey Lance in there. I guarantee you Trey Lance is in there. You're exactly right. Calvin Watkins reported that he was supposed to be the 3rd string against the Niners. Then Rico got sick and Zeke was elevated to RB1. He has got to be barking in the locker room. Now Spider-Man, let's paint a different picture. Do y'all not understand how strange it would be for a person to get the flu? Because I've had it before. And I'm pretty sure some of you have. Do you know how unusual it would be for you to get up that morning? You're getting ready for the game. And around 2 or 3 o'clock, you say, I'm not feeling too good. I'm out. And I'm thinking that actually Mike McCarthy said it was about a couple hours before the game. I've had the flu. It don't quite hit like that. Maybe it do other folk. It don't quite hit like that. Because even when you're starting to kind of feel it a little bit, it's strange how that if you'll keep active. See, a lot of people don't understand when they get sick, they start wanting to sit around and lay around and blah, blah, blah. And that really gets it really going on you. But if you kind of feeling, and let's say it's something that you're doing, you got something that you're being active in, you can still kind of get through it, especially if it's not really serious. Because Rico's didn't look really serious. There's a reason why it's called the flu game with Michael Jordan. Because he played with flu-like symptoms, even though some people say it wasn't necessarily flu, but whatever the case may be. See, he played through it. And there are other people that they get sick, they play through that stuff. But let's paint this picture. What if Zeke is openly expressing, while he may not be expressing it to where we can see it, where we can hear it? What if he's doing it to the coaches? And what if Rico said, hold on, I don't want no part of this. I don't want no part of this. If Zeke want to start that bad, oh man, I won't even play today. Because I'm telling you, sometimes when you get people who are like carrying on in certain ways, sometimes there are people who would just say, man, I ain't want to be in this stuff. Because you got to understand, Rico is in a weird position. Rico is the best running back on this team. I mean, the statistics show it, the tape show it. But he may know it, and other people may know it. But what do you think he feels like if Zeke is pushing back on the coaching staff saying, no, I'm the best running back on the team. You're just not giving me opportunities. I mean, man, that causes a lot of commotion and people don't realize it. I don't know if you've ever been in a situation like that. You've been promoted, for example, but there's another person who is your friend, and they're saying that they deserve the promotion. And even though they're not barking at you necessarily, but you kind of feeling some type of way too, because you know you're better than them, and everyone says you're better than them, but they're arguing with the person that is above you. And now they got you feeling some type of way because you're like, wait a minute, I don't want to be in the middle of this. I'm not promoting myself. I mean, I'm better than you, but I'm not promoting myself. So that puts that person in a strange position. It just makes me wonder. And I still say, I don't care what anyone says. And I could be totally wrong. That Rico Dowdle thing, man, that thing right there, I'm sorry, that's too coincidental. And Spider-Man, now that you done put me up on this game, he was supposed to be the third string against the Niners. Then Rico got, as you put in quotations, sick, and Zeke was elevated to RB1. Really? Really? Sounds mighty convenient to me. That whole situation stink. And I'm going to tell y'all why it stink. I've already given you the proof. Now I'm going to give you the facts. You know why I know it stinks? They had already elevated Ezekiel Elliot to RB1 before the 49er game. Because he was the RB1, even if he wasn't listed as. He was the RB1 in the Detroit Lion game because they started him right out the gate, and he started pretty much the entire first half until the game got out of control. That's why I call Mike McCarthy a liar. This whole story stinks. Make it make sense, y'all. Make it make sense. Rico gets sick. He's elevated to the RB1. Now they're coming up against the Falcons. All of a sudden, for disciplinary reasons that have been building, all of a sudden, Zeke is not making the trip. And the disciplinary issue, it doesn't sound like it's a league issue. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to kind of figure out that this stuff is related. And people can say anything they want to. I don't care what they're saying about. As you said, Spider-Man, in quotations, he got sick. Really? It sounds like to me that there's something deeper going on this team. LaQueen says, Zelensky have gone off and told Jerry, you know you tanking and calling out what's happening on the team, and Jerry cannot take it. Revelation said, don't the Bucs stop with Jerry Jones when it comes to Zeke? That's what it seemed like to me. That's what it seemed like to me. What's going on, Niecy? Spider-Man says there are too many people on this team with a sense of entitlement. Zeke is not owed anything based on what he did years ago. What have you done lately? I'm telling y'all. I've been saying this from the beginning. Y'all got to look at this. These two things have to be related. Rico suddenly comes down with a sickness, so Zeke can be elevated to RB1. And now the following week, Zeke not going with the team because he's being suspended for disciplinary reasons. These two things related. They're related. And I'm telling you, I don't know if y'all have ever been in the situation I'm explaining, but I've been in those situations. You get promoted. There's someone under you who don't think you should be promoted. They're arguing with the manager above you, and they're saying, no, it should be me. And when people cause those kind of stinks, I'm telling you, people will back out and say, hey, hold on, man. If it's going to cause this kind of trouble, it sounds, that story sounds like it's related. And I think Zeke, I just wonder what he was told. And I said this earlier in the season, because the way Zeke is acting, it's like he was told something, like he was promised something. Gregory says Dak has to find a way to rise above this. He can't throw it. You know what? And this is where I'm about to go with this. This is where I'm about to go with this. Let me read a couple more comments. This is where I'm about to go. Greg from Texas. All right. What's going on, Greg? Jay Recruiter. Zeke started good against the Browns. How did Rico get a start the next week? Zeke is a real-life NFL running back. Rico is a lifetime backup. But you got to ask yourself why. You got to ask yourself why. And let me go to something, Jay Recruiter. Okay, you brought this up about Zeke. Let's see. Yeah, my spider sense is tingling now. Let me look at something here. Okay, so I see what you're saying here, Jay Recruiter. Okay, so Zeke against the Browns. Zeke against the Browns was 10 for 40. He was 10 for 40, 1 touchdown. Rico Dowdle was 8 for 26. That was a good game. So let me think. Here. The next game was what? The Mollywop game? Where the Saints mollywopped us? Yeah, that was actually a really good game and you know what? We got to even be careful saying really good game, because I think what happened even in that game, I think the Cowboys didn't feel like that was good enough per se. But I get what you're saying, Jay Recruiter, because that was actually that was higher than his season average. He was 4 yards a carry. Now, I'm going to show you what happened against the New Orleans Saints. And I don't know if this plays into it, Jay Recruiter, but I'm going to just show you what happened the next week against the Saints. Let's see what happened. So the next week against the Saints, they split the carries. Rico was 7 for 30, 4.3. Zeke was 6 for 16, 2.7. So we got 2 games where Zeke ran for 4 yards a carry. Then we got the next game, and then Rico Dowdle ran for 4.3 yards a carry. And so then we got what happened? Y'all help me out. So we got mollywopped again. At least we got mollywopped again in the first half by the Baltimore Ravens, right? So we got mollywopped again against the Baltimore Ravens. Made a really good comeback in the second half of that game. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay. So we got to the next game. Now watch what happens. Now I don't know. They're not giving either one of them a lot of carries. Hold on a second. I got to sneeze. Okay. So we see the first game, Zeke. Second game, Rico Dowdle is better. We get to the third game. Let's look at the third game, what happened. In the third game, Rico Dowdle, 8 for 32. 4 yards to carry again. Zeke this time only got 2 for 7, 3.5 yards. And I think, and I could be totally wrong, but I think that when it comes to who got the advantage, when it comes to the ownership, it's Ezekiel Elliot. But I think what the coaching staff is saying is that they're seeing a lot more burst, a lot more make you miss from Rico Dowdle than they are from Ezekiel Elliot. Because Ezekiel Elliott is more of a punishing running back. Rico Dowdle is more of I'm going to put a move or two on you, and then I'm going to get going running back. So I think they like what they saw with Rico Dowdle more than they like what they saw with Ezekiel Elliott. Because I'll be honest with you, I was looking at both of them on the field, and in my opinion, I was like, no, Rico looks better. Rico just looks better. And, you know, you can have a different opinion. We're not going to lose friendship over it. But to me, Rico Dowdle looked better than Zeke. And maybe, Jay Recruiter, you're giving the other side of the argument. Maybe Zeke is looking at these things going, well, I think I'm just as good, if not better than Rico. I'm just as good, if not better than Rico. And I think if y'all were giving me more opportunities, I would be doing more. Y'all need to make my role bigger. Maybe that's what he's arguing. And so let's look here. I want to look at the New York Giants game. And I'm telling you, here it is again. The more you keep looking at this, and I don't think this is just the games. I think they're looking at practice too. I think they're looking at practice and the games. So when you look at the New York Giants game, look at what happened. Rico Dowdle, 11 for 46, 4.2. Ezekiel Elliot, 5 for 19, 3.8. And so I think what they're looking at, they keep looking at this fact that other than that first game, Zeke, 4 yards a carry. But if we're looking at Rico Dowdle, other than that first game, he's been 4 yards a carry. And he just looks different. I mean, to me, Rico looks different when he's running. He looks like he has another gear. Zeke don't look like that. And so, you know what? Maybe we're arguing both sides. I mean, Zeke is saying, I think I'm just as good. I'm just as good. And I think the coaching staff are saying, no, you're not. Because I think they're saying, Zeke, you're at your maximum capacity. But with Rico Dowdle, we're seeing that he got a lot more juice. He got a lot more juice if we'll get it to him. Nisi says the only person they want to do more with less is Dak. She said that Trey Lance play style is closer to Dak than Rush. I'm telling you. Jay is right. Hey, man, I'm telling you. The moment, Jay Recruiter, right on point. The moment, if Dak was to get hurt, it's Trey Lance. It's the Trey Lance show. I guarantee you, it's the Trey Lance show. And I won't even be shocked that after this season, if I'm not mistaken, Cooper Rush is on a 1-year deal. I mean, this is the last year of his deal. I won't be shocked that Trey Lance becomes a free agent. And if no one gets him, I believe Dallas will bring him back again. I do. I think the Joneses like him. I really do. So I think we're looking at a Spider-Man, yes, serviceable, Cooper Rush. I think we're looking at, okay, I got your Cowboys cast. I think what we're looking at right here with this thing with Zeke, just reading tea leaves and everything they're writing, I think what we're looking at is that Zeke, even though, y'all remember what Clarence Hill said? Clarence Hill said, Zeke is not trying to cause problems in the locker room. That's what Clarence Hill said. But it seemed like to me, something is going on here. Something is going on here. Revelation said, but is Trey Lance a student of the quarterback game? I think he's starting to be a student of Dak Prescott. I'm going to tell y'all something, man. Dak Prescott is a great guy. People can say anything they want to say about Dak Prescott. Dak is a great guy. And I think Trey Lance has a lot of respect for Dak Prescott. He has a lot of respect for Dak Prescott because how Dak Prescott has treated him. See, I can remember days like Brett Favre talking about it's not his job to be training Aaron Rodgers. How Aaron Rodgers treated Jordan Love. I mean, I can remember the GOAT, Tom Brady. Man, when it came to Jimmy Garoppolo, man, it came down, and I don't know how true it is, but it came down the pipe that Tom Brady went to Robert Kraft. Man, he pulled rank on Bill Belichick. He pulled rank. We ain't heard Robert Kraft ever with Bill Belichick. Give him a personnel command. He ain't never told Bill who to cut, who not to cut, who to draft. Kraft never told him none of that. But when the rumor came out that Brady went to Robert Kraft and said, Bill trying to push me out with Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy got to go. Y'all notice Jimmy got gone? Jimmy got gone, y'all. And y'all know what Bill Belichick did out of spite? Man, Bill Belichick gave Jimmy Garoppolo away for a stick of bubble gum. Gave him to Kyle Shanahan. Gave him to him. That's the kind of control that he had. But the one thing he was not going to do, Robert Kraft said, you're not replacing my son. You're not replacing my son, Tom Brady. Not going to do it. You're not going to do it. And so I'm telling y'all, man, Dak is a great guy. He really is. He really is. Dak did something for Trey Lance that a lot of quarterbacks would not have done. Dak invited that offense on a retreat. And he took Trey Lance with him. And I thought it was so powerful. Y'all watch this now. Do y'all remember when Trey Lance had that terrible last game? One of the most telling photos for me is one of the people who hugged Trey Lance when he came off that field. Dak Prescott embraced him. That's the kind of guy Dak Prescott is. And so I think Trey Lance has a lot of respect for Dak Prescott. So you asked the question, is he a student of the game? I think he's learning that from Dak Prescott. I believe he's learning that from Dak Prescott. Niecy says, you won't be able to get dressed with the flu. You are weak. Mike, stop it. You see what I'm saying? It don't hit you like that. And so if Rico had it and the way he was still operating, it couldn't have been that serious. And so Rico is still operating like, hey, you know what? It don't hit you like that. When it hit you, man, You ain't standing around on that sideline. You're not signing autographs. I mean, you're not walking around like nothing going on. Yeah, I got the flu, man. No big deal. Nah, bro. You ain't carrying on like that. See, this is all seeming to coming together. It's all seeming to be coming together. Rico waited for his turn and he shined. Let him continue to prove himself. You know what's so funny? Before Jerry got the inclination, I don't know what gave him the itch to bring Zeke back. He was saying that that's exactly what they were going to do. They were going with Rico Dowdle. He said it. He said it straight up. Revelation Journal says he should be with that clipboard all day. Hey, Niecy, I'm telling you, I'm still waiting on the Trey Lance package. I'm still waiting on it. Roberta, Zeke's not playing tomorrow. Let me put it up again. Let me see if I still have it over here. Zeke's been, quote unquote, Zeke's been suspended, Roberta. Zeke's been suspended for a game. He's been suspended for a game, and we're not quite sure why. So we're stating some facts and we're speculating too. But here it is again, Roberta. Here it is again. Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliot did not travel to Atlanta because of disciplinary reasons and will be inactive on Sunday. Huge. Huge. I hate this for Zeke. Because whenever I see people reacting like this, it always makes me wonder if they've been told something. Because football, Tony Romo said it perfectly. Football is a meritocracy. You don't see a lot of players arguing when they get beat. Because typically when they get beat, they know they've gotten beat. They acknowledge that the guy who has taken their spot is better than them. It's the cold hard facts of football. That's why people love it. It's the ultimate game, especially when it's not on the Dallas Cowboys. No, all politics aside, if a player is better than you, he takes your place. If a player is better than you, they cut you. If a player is better than you, they trade you. If a player is better than you, it is what it is, and everyone accepts it, and you go on and move on. That's the meritocracy. Tony Romo in tears. Tony Romo in tears. He had to admit, and I'll be the first one to say it. I believe right now, Dak Prescott is a better quarterback than Tony Romo. Right now. Last year, right now, Dak Prescott has exceeded Tony Romo. Dak Prescott has already accomplished everything Tony Romo accomplished in his whole career. Dak Prescott has done it in 8 seasons. 8 seasons, y'all. We keep talking about, people be talking about this man like he chop suey. Man, let anybody tell you, it's hard to win in this league. It is hard to win in this league. And I'm laughing because they'll say Dak Prescott, chop suey, had these weapons around him. He's only 2-5 in the playoffs. What about Lamar Jackson? Isn't it funny how we move the goalposts for the one-time unanimous MVP of the league, 2-time MVP of the league? Isn't it strange how we move the goalposts for him? Y'all see what the Baltimore Ravens did for Lamar Jackson? They went and got Derrick Henry. Why would they go get Derrick Henry? Why would they go get Derrick Henry for the quote-unquote 2-time MVP who shouldn't have been the MVP last year? It should have been Dak Prescott, but they were too afraid to give Dak Prescott the MVP because of the way the media talks about him. So they wouldn't give it to him. Look at what they both did. Dak Prescott dominated the league most of the season. Lamar Jackson comes in about 8 games and dominates. And I don't even think he dominated the league. I think he dominated in spots. Dak dominated the league last year. Fell short in the playoffs. Why? We don't even want to admit this. That wasn't all Dak. Dan Quinn changed the defense. They couldn't stop. They couldn't stop the run. Jordan Love said they looked on the other side of the ball and they saw that the Dallas Cowboys had safeties playing linebacker. He said it was a wrap. They ran us out of the stadium. They on the sidelines wearing Ray-Ban shades and having fun, putting on chains and all kinds of old crazy stuff in Dallas Stadium. They knew the game was over in the first half. Dak don't play defense last time I checked. Then they take CD Lamb away from him. They know we can't run the ball. We out there trying to throw the undersized receivers. We don't have a receiver. The drop-off for the Dallas Cowboys is insane. CD Lamb, top 5. After him, we don't even have a receiver in the top 100 last year. We talk about Dak Prescott like he chop suey. But then we'll give Lamar Jackson every excuse in the world. Every excuse in the world, we'll give it to Lamar Jackson. Every excuse in the world, we'll give it to Josh Allen. Boy, let me tell y'all something. The NFL want Josh Allen to win a Super Bowl so bad, it's killing them. It's killing them. Nobody will admit Josh Allen, as talented as he is, and I'm telling you, I got Josh Allen in my top 5 in the league. And I'm not talking about this year. I got Josh Allen in my top 5. But he a turnover machine. Josh Allen is a turnover machine. And you want to talk about the reason. Everybody will talk about why Dak threw those interceptions in that second game, that first game against the San Francisco 49ers, which I put that game on Dak. They could have won that game. Dak threw a couple of crucial interceptions down there at the end. Do y'all know how many times Josh Allen has done that? In the playoffs. In the regular season. But boy, every season they are singing the praises of Josh Allen. Makes me wonder, why do they want Josh Allen to get a Super Bowl so bad? Why do they make every excuse when he's making all the mistakes? Why do they make the excuse? Josh Allen, he is one of the biggest, strongest, fastest quarterbacks in the league. Why hasn't he won a Super Bowl? But when it comes to Dak Prescott, it's always an excuse. Dak Prescott chop suey, y'all. Dak Prescott chop suey. And so I digress. I'm telling you. And Nicholas, you're asking the question, why can't he beat the 49ers? Because he can't beat the 49ers and the Green Bay Packers. Ask Jordan Love, why did he beat the Dallas Cowboys? Because his running backs ran the Dallas Cowboys off the field. Because their defense shut our run down, shut down CD Lamb. Ask Jordan Love how he won that game. I bet you Jordan Love won't tell you I won the game. Jordan Love will tell you, because he'll tell you the truth. It was easy. They had linebackers. They had safeties playing linebackers. We handed the ball off. They couldn't stop the run, so I hit them with the play action. I didn't have to throw that many balls. It was like throwing the football at the park. The Dallas Cowboys were trash on defense. Didn't even get a quarterback a chance. But I digress. We're not going to rehash all of that. I'm just saying. They say Dak Prescott is chop suey. But all this stuff, this is what Dak has to deal with. Spider-Man says, we are probably the only team in the NFL that used the regular season to find out who a starting back was. We found out it was Dowdle based on performance. Then Zeke fought back intensely. Spider-Man, you've been hearing me say it. I've been saying it for weeks. I've been saying it for weeks. And make no mistake about it, we can still use Zeke. It's not a problem to still use Zeke. Now, where I fault them is that they're not using Zeke right. Zeke does not need to be your number one running back. But I'll take Zeke in the passing game over Jalen Brooks. I would be using Zeke in the screen game. I would be getting Zeke in space. I would be using Zeke in the backfield, extra blocker. You go out, now you're Dak's safety valve. I would be giving him 10 to 12 plays, maybe even 15. Not at the running back position. I would be using him creatively. Hey, you know what? I tell you what, Zeke, we're going to put you out here with Rico Dowdle. We're going to put both of y'all on the field at the same time. Nisi was saying it just the other day. I would have Zeke, Rico Dowdle, and Hunter Lipke. Hunter Lipke here, we're going to line you up at tight end. We're about to put Dak all kinds of safety valves out here. We're going to have these guys. We'll have 3 wide receivers. They'll run deep. We'll have Lipke and we'll have Zeke. They'll be the short underneath. Dak, you get in trouble, dump it off. Dump it off. Lipke will be here or Zeke will be here. The problem is we're not creative enough. We're not creative enough to use the players that we have and use them to their strengths. And that's why it makes me wonder. And I think this is one of the reasons why Zeke, what was he told, number one? Because when I see players fighting against a meritocracy, it makes me believe they've been told something. Because if you tell me when I come in, I'm going to be the starter. If you tell me how you're going to use me, and then you're not using me like that, well, now I start to get a problem. Because I don't care about your meritocracy no more. I'm going by what you told me. Y'all see how that works? Is the owner GM finally letting Mike coach without interference? We're about to find out. We're about to find out this week. Because y'all remember, I told you, and Mike McCarthy said as much. He doesn't like the running back by committee. But then he comes back and says, but, that's what we're going with. So, it will make it work or it'll work. No. Mike knows. Anybody knows. If you watch football, the number one running back is the number one running back. He's going to get the majority of the carries. Period. Everybody understands that. Because to me, if you got 2 RB1s, you really don't have a running back. What you're going to have is turmoil. You got to establish the pecking order. You have to establish the pecking order. Revelation said, y'all think Big Mike would quit the Cowboy head coach job if Jerry would fire him as OC and make Dak Prescott his QB OC? Nope. You know why I don't think he would do it? Because Jerry would still pay him $5 million. You tell me. Would you stand on the sideline and just be the cheerleader for $5 million? Now, I'll tell you about me. I'll be honest with you. I think the best way to coach, I'm just different. I believe that football is the ultimate team sport. Now, some guys, they can do it. They can be coach and play caller. And I could probably be, if I had to, I could be coach and play caller, but I wouldn't want to be the play caller. Nope. Don't want to do it. I want to coach my team. I want to coach my team. I want to oversee my entire team. I don't want to just sit in with the offense. I don't want to just sit in with the offense if I'm the head coach. I'm going to sit in with the offense the majority of the time, and then I'm going to kind of walk into the defensive room. Y'all remember what Mike McCarthy's been saying? Y'all catch what he said? We need to start having some cross-room interaction. What are you talking about, Mike McCarthy? Are you saying because you're the OC and the head coach, you're spending all of your time with the offense and you can't spend any time with Mike Zimmer and the defense? You don't have any time to kind of look at what he's doing with his game plans? He's basically just saying, here's my game plan. You look at it and go, okay, I trust you. I'm going to tell y'all something. I'm not saying you can't coach like that, but you better have Steve Spagnuolo. You better have Bill Belichick as your defensive coordinator. I'm not talking about the coach. He better be your defensive coordinator. You better have a defensive coordinator to where you can say, man, I don't even have to look at his game plan. I know what he going to do. He going to come in and shut this thing down. I don't even have to look at him. Me, I would rather be the coach of my team like Mike Tomlin. I want to be the coach of my team like Jimmy Johnson. I want to be able to go to any player I want to when something is going on. I get to go to that player. When the defense come off the field and there's a player that messed up, I don't want to be sitting up, okay, let me get my plays together. I got an offensive coordinator for that. I'm about to go over here and we about to have some words. I'm about to encourage him. About to give him some words, though. You better than this. Get your act together. Get your act together, we'll yank you out of here. Y'all remember in the Super Bowl what Bill Belichick did to Butler? People still don't know why Butler didn't play in that Super Bowl. I saw a conversation, people still having the conversation just last week. Everybody is saying they don't know why he played. Why? They don't know why Bill set him down. And a lot of people say it cost him the game. I'm telling you, I would rather coach. Nisi says Zeke wants to outshine Saquon and Henry. He sees them shining with their teams. Woo, Nisi. Oh, I hope he ain't having them visions of grandeur. They will bring Trey back, but not for $5 million. They're going to wait. Watch what I tell you, Nisi. They're going to wait and see if there's a market for him. And I'm going to tell you something. I think there's going to be a market for Trey Lance. I think there's going to be a market for him. I do. When you look at Trey Lance, I didn't look at Trey Lance the same way everyone else did. I knew he wasn't the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. I just thought it was idiotic what they were doing. I knew he wasn't the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. He needs to be on a team to where they're committing to him, saying, one, he's the number one quarterback. They're willing to go with the growing pains, whatever the case may be. Two, I think the Cowboys are too chaotic for him. He needs to go to a team that's a little bit more solidified, GM, coach, etc. Trey Lance, right now, he's an athlete. He really is. He's an athlete. And I think if you get him with the right coach and you're saying we're going to give you a couple of years and you'll be what we need, I think Trey Lance could be your man. I do. So I hope he actually gets a chance. Nisi, I'll be honest, I don't want the Cowboys to bring him back. I don't want Trey Lance to be sitting on the sideline for $2 or $3 million with a clipboard in his hand. I want this dude to go get a chance. I really do. The Cowboy says, love your show for the simple fact that you bring the details of the organization to be heard. Everyone is thinking about it, but not saying anything. Thanks for the insight. Appreciate your Cowboys cast. I'm telling us, man, this thing with the Cowboys is deep. Dak is treating Trey the way he wanted Romo to treat him. Woo! Girl. Nisi. I didn't even think about that one. Y'all think Romo treated Dak right? Because I can tell you he didn't. And Romo, no, he didn't. That's why Romo came out with that meritocracy speech. That's why he came out with that. Because everything was swirling. Everybody was saying it. Romo was campaigning. No, let's have a competition. Romo was a better quarterback than Dak then. Dak's a better quarterback now. Romo was a better quarterback then. But Dak was winning with that team in ways that Romo had never won. Dak and Zeke were connected in a way that DeMarco Murray and Romo were not connected. They were not connected. Man, I can remember Big Ben Roethlisberger. Man, when Zeke, I knew Dak was there to stay. When Big Ben Roethlisberger, when Dak hit Zeke with that, it looked like a little, I guess it was a little screen, and man, Zeke took that thing to the crib. Big Ben Roethlisberger said, man, that's the best combination in the NFL. Big Ben said, man, them dudes for real. I knew then. I said, nah, this dude Dak here to stay. This dude Dak here to stay. And so the issue is Romo was better, but Dak outplayed him. He did. We were seeing stuff from Dak we hadn't seen from Romo in years. Dak outplayed him. And Romo, y'all remember when they used to call Romo Tony Ono? Y'all remember that? Romo could make some of the most amazing plays. He was a beast. And then Tony Romo every so often would do something and make you go, what in the world is he doing? What is he doing? Dak just played better. And so, hey, it is what it is. 70s fan, you asked, is Rico activated this week? Man, you gonna listen to me before it's all said and done. Rico never was hurt. Rico never was sick. 70s, I'm telling you, this is all related. I believe this is all related. How is all of this happening, 70s? Think about it. I've been giving this case, and it just makes sense. Rico Dowdle has the best game of the season for the Dallas Cowboys. Zeke comes out the same week. Clarence Hill asked him, are you kind of, are you perturbed, for lack of a better term, I'm paraphrasing, about your role on the team? Are you kind of wondering why you're not being used? And Zeke, I'm just whatever. You got to ask them. Well, guess what? Zeke, now we're understanding. He's already been asking them. Because even then, y'all remember what Clarence Hill reported? Zeke has had a meeting with the coaching staff. And what happens? We come out in the Detroit game. Guess who the starter is? Zeke. Then we get to the San Francisco game. What happened? Rico got sick at the last minute. And Spider-Man is reporting that Calvin Watkins said that Zeke was actually supposed to be RB3 in the 49er game. And then Rico mysteriously gets sick, but when you see him on the sideline, he don't look sick. Out of uniform, he don't look sick. Signing autographs, he don't look sick. Come on. I believe Rico said, hold on a second, let me step back. This is crazy right here. I believe Zeke has been pushing back. And when you read what Clarence Hill said, this has been building. Well, what's been building? We could find out something that's totally different than what I'm saying. But this all sounds related to me. This is too many coincidences in a row. Where there is smoke, there is fire. Does anyone know why he's not playing? I can show you. It's just being this simple. This is what's being said. Right here. This is the most telling statement, 70s. Look, ESPN has mentioned that Elliott will be inactive against the Falcons due to disciplinary reasons. And watch this, DLLS. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that's Clarence Hill. And he's real close to the Cowboys organization. Reports that it is to my understanding that Elliott was left behind for disciplinary issue has been building for a while. So what has he been doing? What has he been doing for a while? What has he been doing? Because if it's a league violation, by now you know it. Surely by now you would know it if it was something to do with the league. It's not the league. It's obviously not a league thing. It says LTC bro, football IQ is off the charts, sir. Be blessed. Appreciate you, my brother. Look at this. Jarmy official says, I don't understand this. Why wait forever to give Dalvin a chance? And now he has to get the rust off late in the season. Say it again. Now, Nisi, you chime in here. Because Nisi's already said this. It's called politics, Jarmy. You know why this issue has been going on? I said it last week. I said it this week. There is no way the coaches have been looking at the practice, looking at the tape, looking at the game. There's no way they're looking at those two running backs and thinking Zeke is better than Rico. Watch this. I heard a retired football player say something that is so profound, and I can't go against it. Because there are some who say that Zeke is still good. Zeke's not washed. I'm not saying he's quote unquote per se washed. Watch this. They said something profound. That if you have an older player and a younger player, and the difference in performance is this, you go with the younger player. You go with the younger player. Now, if it's like this, let's say Derrick Henry's on this team compared to Rico Dowdle. Are we having a conversation? Y'all help me out. Are we having a conversation? If Derrick Henry, and I'm using him for a reason, he's an older running back. If Derrick Henry's on this team and Rico Dowdle's on this team, are we having this conversation? You know why we're not having this conversation? Because Derrick Henry is here and Rico Dowdle is here. We're not having this conversation. But you got to have the conversation. If Zeke and Rico are here, I'm going here. You know why? Because this older running back has literally reached his ceiling. Because what we're watching from Zeke, this has been what he's been for the last 3 seasons. This is what he's been. Period. This is what he's been. I'm looking at Rico and I'm saying, hold on a second. If Rico can manage to stay healthy, we've seen flashes from Rico that if we really get him going, Rico can be the number 1 back for this team. And now we got Dalvin Cook. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, y'all better hear me when I'm telling you. These guys are a lot more observant than what we want to give them credit for. I bet you there's not another team in the league where Ezekiel Elliot could start over Dalvin Cook. I bet you there's not another team in the league. I bet you there's not another team in the league. Dalvin Cook would be starting over Zeke on almost any other team. Jarmy, they should have been had Dalvin Cook active. But you know why? I'm telling you, I could be totally wrong, but all of this is related. All of this is related. How do y'all think Zeke felt when they brought in Dalvin Cook? How do y'all think how do y'all think Zeke felt? I can't tell you 100% how he felt. Can't tell you. I really can't. I can just tell you how I would feel if I've been told. See, when I'm told something, I go around the meritocracy. See, this is the Jerry Jones effect. When I'm told something, I got expectations. So you bring in Dalvin Cook, how you think I'm feeling? And then when you start talking about bringing Dalvin Cook up, how you think I'm feeling? Because where am I going to be put? You see what Calvin Watkins is reporting? He was supposed to be the third back. That means he's not going to get no action. 70s fan says, but if a player is making more money than a better player he plays, that's the Joneses way. So think about this, 70s. We've been talking about this on this channel for a while. And some people are, arguing different ways. I'm listening to Mike McCarthy, and it keeps making me wonder, who is he talking about? Who is he talking to? When he keeps saying stuff like we have to stay committed to the run, don't like the running back by committee. Who you talking to? You don't need to be talking to the fan base. We have no control over you, because if we did have control over you, the fan base would be saying, Mike, hey, go back to your last year playbook after the bye week. That's what we would be saying. We would be saying, Mike, run the ball, because I'm screaming it at my television every week. My wife is screaming it at the television every week. I bet some of y'all screaming at your television, Mike, run the ball. Who is he talking to when he's saying we? And it makes me wonder, and Nisi asked the question earlier, is Jerry finally going to let Mike coach? Because it seems to me there's some kind of war going on between those two. It's kind of like it's a low-key war. Like Jerry's wanting one thing and Mike is saying, no, let's go this way. It's just making me wonder. All of this stuff, this is the Cowboys nonsense. And this is what players have to play through. And you're right, 70s. I can remember like yesterday, Steven said, here, the money stays on the field. But I think that they are starting to get a lot of pushback. I think they're getting a lot of pushback. Jerry said something on the radio on Friday that's kind of got my spider senses tingling. Jerry said he did not anticipate it being as rough as it has been this season. What do you mean, Jerry? I think Jerry did not anticipate. I don't think Jerry Jones anticipated the injuries that the Cowboys are going through. That's the part he didn't anticipate. See, Jerry, the way Jerry kind of thought about it like, okay, we're going to go ahead and go with these young guys and everything will be all good. What's happening to Jerry? He's getting all of these injuries. I mean, it's injury after injury after injury. And now he's getting this thing with Zeke. And so all of these things being compounded, Jerry is saying it. I just basically thought that I was going to be able to go with these young guys and we were going to probably be able to, kind of go out here and, do some winning and blah, blah, blah. I mean, I don't know if we were going to go to the Super Bowl. I'm pretty sure he didn't think that. But we would be able to win like we've been winning, but with these young guys. Well, he didn't anticipate all these injuries. And so it's making me wonder if Jerry is now starting to kind of, okay, maybe we need to do something. Maybe we need to do something to try to win some of these games. I'm telling you, I like Zeke, y'all. I want y'all, I said that all along. I like Zeke. And I hope, and I'm hoping that is nothing where he's have some misbehavior. And if it's a meritocracy issue versus what Zeke has been told. And I can understand Jay Recruiter has been making his case. Maybe Zeke is trying to make his case. And I hope it's just something that simple. I hope it's something that simple. But the reality is, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I don't believe in other gods. So take what I'm saying almost as mythology. I don't believe in other gods. But I believe the football gods have spoken. Sometimes what you need to happen happens in ways that you don't necessarily agree with the way it's happening. But sometimes what needs to happen happens. Sometimes what needs to happen happens, and you didn't make it happen. And I am telling y'all, mark my words, if the Dallas Cowboys go out here on Sunday and they give that ball to Rico Dowdle 20, 25 times, and they give Dalvin Cook that ball 10, 15 times, sweeps, pitches, outside runs to the left, to the right. If the Cowboys go out and run this ball with Rico Dowdle and Dalvin Cook on the Atlanta Falcons, I promise you tomorrow in the postgame show, I'm going to be telling you I told you so. I'm telling you. Sometimes what needs to happen happens, and you don't do it. It's not you doing it. It just happens. It just happens. And I think not what needed to happen as in whatever's going on with Zeke. And I don't know, maybe that needed to happen. I'm not saying that part needed to happen. But y'all have been hearing me say it. Rico Dowdle just needs to be the number one back on this team. Commit to the man and be done. Even if it was going to be Zeke, man, stop this running back by committee. Whoever your running back is, let him be the running back. And when he gets tired, let the other guy come in and then you put him back in. Let the one running back be the number one running back. And don't let me get warmed up and then all of a sudden, okay, it's so-and-so time. No, man, I'm heated. I'm getting warmed up in this thing. I'm getting warmed up. I need to keep on running. Sometimes what needs to happen happens. I'm telling us, it just is what it is. Josh Allen wasn't good until he got Stephon Diggs. Boy, changed life for him, didn't he? Changed life for him. 70 says Josh Allen is not a turnover machine this year. He's not passing downfield as much. You see how smart the coach got? The coach got smart. You stop him from doing those things because see, I'm going to tell you about Josh Allen. You know what Josh Allen's problem is? He's got a cannon for an arm, and he knows it. He knows he can put that ball almost anywhere. And his problem is he'll try to put that ball almost anywhere. He'll try to fit it in places that he probably shouldn't be throwing it. Josh Allen knows he's got a cannon for an arm. And so what the coach is doing is he's reeling them in. Reeling them in. Eagles 1977. Do you hear what I'm saying? Sometimes what needs to happen, happens. Dak stats come in the fourth quarter when the game is over. Well, I would agree with you, but the game isn't over in the fourth quarter. Dak just plays to the end. And I appreciate that about Dak. But I think if this team does what it's supposed to do, they're not going to have to worry about Dak. You get that run game running, get that run game working. Dak will get that play action working. Dak will hit you with some chunk yards. Dak will hit you with some short yards. Dak going to do what Dak does, and Dak is going to be a big reason why they win this game. But they got to get that running game going. They got to get it running. Dalvin and Zeke in space. And I say even more so Dalvin, especially Dalvin. That's always been this man's forte. Eagles must be an Eagles fan. Yes, Jay Recruiter, no doubt about it. Andre Moses says, trade Trey Lance now. You know what? I'm going to tell you why they can't trade Trey Lance right now. Let me ask you a question. You get in a situation to where you need $75,000. And I know you need $75,000, Andre. I know you need it. You think I'm going to buy your house at $250,000 and I know you need $75,000 and no one's biting on it? Nope. Nope. I'm going to wait till you come down to a rock bottom price. Or better yet, let's say your house is in foreclosure. That's better. Let's say your house is in foreclosure. So you want to try to shake it some kind of way so you can pay off the debt and whatever else, you're behind on it. You want to sell it so you can, make up the back payments and you can just get from up under the notes. Why am I going to buy the house from you? I get your house cheaper in foreclosure. Y'all know how many people get houses that get foreclosed on dirt cheap? Why am I going to bail you out? I'll sell you out. I just won't give you the money. I can get your house dirt cheap. I get your house on the auction, whatever the case may be. The Cowboys really can't do anything with Trey Lance because if I'm any other team, unless I really desperately need a quarterback right now, I'm going to wait because guess what? Trey Lance is going to be an unrestricted free agent in the offseason. And I don't even have to deal with you. I don't even have to help you. I don't have to give you a draft pick for Trey Lance. So there's got to be someone who wants Trey Lance in order for the Cowboys to trade Trey Lance. And I can tell you now, I could imagine that the Cowboys could probably trade Trey Lance, but no one's giving a fourth-round draft pick for Trey Lance right now. Especially when we know he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. Oh, no, I'm not giving you no fourth. I'd rather wait until he's done. Andre Moses says, recall for 2 touchdowns and 100-yard Dak with 2 rushing touchdowns and a passing touchdown. Cowboys win. Dak is definitely going to have to get busy tomorrow to beat the Falcons, but I think the key to beating the Falcons is just keeping them off the field. And the way you're going to keep them off the field is running the football. And I think that Rico will do that if you commit to him, and I think Dalvin's going to help. Is Zeke a healthy scratch? Oh, no. He's suspended for disciplinary reasons. He's healthy. No, he's healthy. Rico 100-plus yards, 2 touchdowns, Dak for 2 touchdowns and 1 running, TD no interceptions and a win. Oh, man. I'm going to tell you now, Dak just don't turn the ball over. I think this team is going to have a great chance of winning. And if they give the ball, and I'm telling you, they got to give this ball to Rico Dowdle 25 times. Unless he shows you otherwise, you got to give it to him 25 times. And if he can't show you something otherwise, you're going to get Rico Dowdle in. I mean, you're going to get Dalvin Cook in for some drives also. I mean, if Dalvin starts getting hot, let him run it 25 times. But you got to do what you got to do. You got to commit to that running game. Paul Rodriguez says, what's going on, man? Good on Zeke. It's about time somebody said something to this coaching staff. I was hoping they figured out what we've been saying for a couple of years now. This coaching staff is a flipping joke. Well, I'll tell you this. It makes me wonder, though, if that's this coaching staff finally pushing back against Jerry Jones. Because I'm telling you, Zeke should not be the starting running back. And I'm sure that's what Zeke has been arguing about. And I'm telling you, I bet you these coaching staffs have been pushing back on Jerry Jones and this whole notion about Zeke and saying, no, he doesn't need to be the starter. He doesn't need to be the starter. So, like I said, we talk out of both sides of our mouth. We say that Mike McCarthy is trash, but then we also know that Jerry Jones is kind of controlling Mike McCarthy in what he does. So is he trash or is he not being let off the leash? Which one is it? So I hope that it's maybe them finally pushing back and saying, no, Zeke can't be the starter, and Zeke pushing back because of what he's told. And they're like, I don't care what Jerry told you. You're not going to be the starter. I hope that's what the case is. But now will the Cowboys Dez Bryant Zeke off the property at the Star? Paul says, from ownership, scouting, coaching, and players, Diggs straight up admitted he is soft and tackling isn't his superpower. What the F? That's some sus. Yeah, I get what you're saying. And let's talk about that in just a moment as we close. Did Zeke push back on bringing Henry here? Wow, Spider-Man. Wow. I don't know. Because if you bring, you think about it. From what my understanding is, they're paying Zeke $3 million. We looked at Derrick Henry's contract last week, and I think Derrick Henry is guaranteed somewhere around $8 million. Around $8 million. So you take out Zeke's salary, that's $5 million. You take out the state taxes, Derrick Henry would have played here 2 years, $12 million. $6 million a year. I think he would have done it. I think he would have done it because he likes it in Dallas. He got a house here in Dallas. He works out here in Dallas. Makes you wonder. Jay Recruiter, appreciate the man in super chat again, my brother. He says, I get people wanting Rico. I remember the fumble in Pittsburgh. Boy. Now let me relate again, Jay Recruiter, because you hitting on something. Let me relate back to what you're saying here. Jay Recruiter, appreciate you again with the super chat. He says, I remember the fumble in Pittsburgh at the goal line because he hit the wrong hole. His vision is not very good. So watch this. I don't find it to be strange. I said it then, I'll say it again. That's when Zeke spoke up. You know why? Because that's where Zeke is saying, you should have had me in the game. I would have got that touchdown with no fumble. I believe him. I believe him on that point. I think Zeke is very good short yardage. I 100% believe him. I think he gets it. I don't think we have to worry about what that great pass that Dak threw to Tolbert. I don't even think we're worrying about that. Zeke probably gets that touchdown. And Jay Recruiter, you're making some good points because this is probably where Zeke has been pushing back in areas. It's probably where he's been pushing back. Confident Cowboy fan says, what's good? What's going on, Confident? Paul says, Zeke said something to the joke coach McCarthy. And like I said, Paul, think about it. We're talking out of both sides of our mouth here. Because if Jerry is controlling certain things, how much is he controlling? Because again, who is McCarthy trying to convince? Who's the we? Sound like he's talking to somebody else. Sound like he's talking to ownership. Sounds like he's talking to ownership. And who knows? I mean, we can clearly see here that there is a fix in that there seems to be, I call planned demolition. That there's a soft rebuild going on here. And like Nisi said, let's just call it what it is, a rebuild. You got to understand the situation that Mike McCarthy's in. Maybe Mike McCarthy don't want to lose. Has anybody ever considered that Mike McCarthy can see also what's going on? Maybe Mike McCarthy don't want to lose. Maybe he don't want to lose. Maybe he's fighting back. Hey, man, I want to commit to the run, but I need Rico. Maybe Mike don't want to lose. And so, you know what? Some of this stuff we're seeing, I'm not tripping. Because I think this is some of the stuff we need. We need to weed out some of this dumb stuff. Mike does need to say, man, this is my last year. Let me go out. If you're gonna kill me, let me go out my own way. If you're gonna let me go out my own way then. You remember what Jerry said, why he didn't fire Wade Phillips? He wished he wouldn't have fired Wade Phillips and let Wade Phillips do it his way. Well, maybe he's to that point. Maybe he's to that point. Maybe he's going to let Mike McCarthy do it his way. Hey, y'all, don't be shocked. Don't be shocked. Zeke trade or Zeke cut. Don't be shocked. Do not be shocked. Because I got a feeling that if this is a disciplinary issue based on the fact that Zeke thinks he should be playing, do not be shocked if they let Zeke go and let him find somewhere else to play. Jay Recruiter said the Rico fumble was a product of that Pittsburgh linebacker. That was a phenomenal play. Boy, wasn't it though. That joker jumped up and met Rico. He met him, man. He met him right there in the hole and smashed him. It's a great play. Really was. X Crush says we need to use Hunter Lipke more. Zeke don't need to be here. I've been saying it. We've been saying it. Yes, Hunter Lipke needs to be a bigger part of the game plan. They got to figure out how to keep him. And see, for me, X Crush, I think we need to keep Lipke on the field. We need to just keep him on the field. I think they really need to redesign this offense. I mean, what do I know? I'm just a YouTuber. But I'm just saying, I think we need to redesign this offense. I think we need to keep Lipke on the field all the time with the RB1. He either needs to line up in the I formation. He needs to be the extra tight end. Schoonmaker is not making it. I mean, I don't know what he's making, but he ain't making it. We need to keep Lipke as a hybrid tight end. We need to keep him in the backfield as a blocker. We need to keep him as a chipper and then go out so we can catch a safety valve. We need to keep him out there at all times. All times. And that way we always have Rico Dowdle. I mean, we always have either Rico Dowdle or Dalvin Cook on the field, or Zeke if it's short yardage. I think we also need to keep Kevontae Turpin on the field. Not as a main wide receiver per se, but as our gadget guy. I think we need to stop running him down the sideline unless we're going to get him out past the safeties and just let him run under it like we've done in the past. But Kevontae Turpin is a shorter wide receiver. He's not a conventional wide receiver. And so that play, I mean, you think about it. We're having a different conversation if Kevontae Turpin catches that ball up the left sideline. I mean, we're having a different conversation if that linebacker doesn't knock that ball down and intercept it also. I mean, different conversation on that last drive. But Kevontae Turpin, I mean, we got to find a way to use all of these guys and find ways to keep them on the field as threats. Even when you're running, keep Kevontae Turpin in motion all the time. And if he's not gonna be in motion, keep CeeDee Lamb in motion all the time. Even if you're running it, keep him in motion. You gotta keep these defenses, you gotta keep them guessing. You gotta keep them guessing. Paul says, Jerry, bruh, he is pushing fans away from his team. This team is a laughingstock. Well, you know what, Paul? Unfortunately, what you're saying is not true. The Dallas Cowboys are selling more tickets than ever. They're selling more tickets than ever. And if you look at the NFL, the Dallas Cowboys are the draw. The Dallas Cowboys are the draw of the NFL. Every game the Dallas Cowboys play can literally be game of the week. Because the Dallas Cowboys, you think about what you get. Drama, check. Look how much drama we got this week building up. We've had Stephon Diggs. We've had Trayvon Diggs, Micah Parsons. It's Saturday night. Now we got Zeke Elliott. You got drama. You got storylines. You got must win. Every game the Cowboys play from this point forward, it absolutely means something. The Cowboys can be game of the week every week. They are a huge draw for the NFL. And I'm going to tell y'all something. Y'all might not believe me. The NFL needs the Dallas Cowboys to win this week. Tell me I'm wrong. The NFL needs the Dallas Cowboys to win this week. Do y'all realize that if the Dallas Cowboys are at least not a threat for the playoffs, do we not realize how big the Dallas Cowboys fan base is all the way from Texas to the West Coast? All the way from Mexico to Texas to the West Coast. The Dallas Cowboys are huge. They got fans all over the United States, all over the world. There's a reason why they're a $10 billion franchise. Do y'all know that if the Dallas Cowboys, as long as they're a threat, they are a huge draw for the NFL. And if the Cowboys win and they get back in it, guess how much more important those Thanksgiving games become? The Dallas Cowboys will be a huge draw. If they win tomorrow and then they can go on a couple of little runs 3 games here, 4 games there, however they want to do it. The Dallas Cowboys get the 10 wins or 11 wins, mess around, and I still believe they're going to get 10 wins. They get in the playoffs. Do y'all know what a letdown it was for everybody last year? Y'all got to understand, the Dallas Cowboys fans, and this is why I say we don't understand what Jerry Jones is doing. Jerry Jones is not just catering to the Dallas Cowboy fan base. He's catering to the Dallas Cowboy haters. He's catering to a team that is global. It was a letdown for the entire media world when the Cowboys got beat in that first round. They had a whole lot to talk about. Y'all notice that? But after the Cowboys is out, what else is there to talk about? Cam Newton said something this week on ESPN I thought was very interesting. Cam Newton said, why are we talking about the Dallas Cowboys? The Dallas Cowboys are irrelevant. Cam Newton should be smarter than that. If Cam Newton don't understand why ESPN is talking about the 3 and 4 Dallas Cowboys as if they're 0-6 or 0-7, if Cam Newton don't know why ESPN is talking about the Dallas Cowboys, fire him now. What is ESPN without the Dallas Cowboys? What's Stephen A. Smith without the Dallas Cowboys? What would Skip Bayless be without the Dallas Cowboys? What is all of media during the football season without the Dallas Cowboys? The NFL needs the Dallas Cowboys to win this game because the Dallas Cowboys have been the biggest draw for the NFL this year. And if they win this game, every game they play from this point forward, again, will be game of the week. Carl says, gee, the bottom line, it's all fall back on Jerry, his stupid, incompetent decisions. I'm telling you, Jerry will destroy meritocracy. And I think what you're seeing is Zeke is pushing back because I don't see how you argue against a meritocracy. But I think you argue when you've been told something. Because even if you look at the stats, I've already showed them. I don't want to show them again. But Rico has been better if you look statistically. And with them being so close and Rico being the younger back, as I heard an NFL experienced player say, that whenever it's close, the older and the younger, you go with the younger talent. Why? The ceiling is higher. This is the very reason why the Cowboys went with Dak rather than Romo. We knew what Romo was. We knew Romo didn't have hardly any time left. He was injury-ridden. So what did they do? They went with the younger talent. Romo was a better quarterback then. Romo was cerebral by that. He was cerebral by that time. But Dak was just playing better, and that's the bottom line. Michael says Michael says Zeke wasn't any good when they let him go 2 years. Why would you think he could be good now? I didn't understand why they brought him back other than the fact Jerry liked him. Spider-Man because he hit the wrong hole. He would have walked in for that TV behind Lipke. Yeah, a lot of people were saying that. I remember that, Jay Recruiter. There is some validity to that. Rico should have taken the ball to the outside and not. Yeah, a lot of people are saying that. Cut into the pile of defenders, even if the linebacker doesn't knock the ball. I think it's not so much that he didn't follow. I think he got anxious, and it looked like he kind of tried to jump, and when he jumped, he got met. But it really was. I'll give both of the arguments credence because, boy, that play by that linebacker was crazy. It was like he timed that thing perfectly. And Andre says, Jerry, yeah, I think he timed that perfectly. Andre says trade Zeke. I think the problem is that when people see that they can probably get the person without trading him, I mean, who's going to trade for him? Who's going to trade for him? I mean, the problem is you got to have a buyer. Revelation says, yeah, but didn't Jerry say about a month ago that he plans 5 years ahead for everything? Jerry, you allowed Dan Quinn to take a lot of your players and didn't replace anyone. Yes. Gilly should have been signed because Diggs wasn't 100%. You should have known to do something if you were a real GM. Man, my wife talk about this all the time. This Stephon Gilmore thing, Nisi, is mind-boggling. We should have kept Stephon Gilmore. There was just no reason not to keep him. We should have kept Stephon Gilmore. We just should have kept him. You let these things work themselves out in training camp. You don't worry about people's feelings and emotions. Don't worry about that stuff. You bring in Gilmore, and if DeRon Bland is better than Gilmore, or if Trayvon Diggs is better than Gilmore, then they let him take Gilmore's spot. And then you can cut him if you want to. Fix the contract to where you cut him. Guaranteed money is only about so many dollars. But I think we should have kept Stephon Gilmore. I'm definitely with you on that. You're right. He thought, and many of us thought, that at least by this time 5-2, but injury can be starting with Sam Williams. Whoo, boy. Them injuries started early, didn't it? Sam Williams and Blank, etc. Whoo, man, them things started early. Started getting at him quick. What's going on, Angie? Sammy said this could be that enough noise from the fans and media is working on the Joneses. I said the same thing. I think that maybe there's a little bit of the heat, and Jerry is saying, okay, maybe we need to do something. Now, where he'll really shock me is if he do something at the trade deadline. But I'm telling you, I would not be surprised. Zeke cut or Zeke trade. And if they can find the buyers, someone mentioned it, Andre mentioned it, trade Zeke. If they can find a buyer, wouldn't be shocked. The O-line have to do their job if you want the running game to work. You know how you get them to do their job, James? Run the ball. Because they're not good enough at the pass yet. You got to run the ball. So you don't let those defensive linemen fire off on them and put moves on them. In particular, Guyton and Steele is getting tore up. Don't even understand that. But if you let them run the ball, you'll help that offensive line. And the offensive line coach, somebody's already mentioned it, he needs to be fired. I can't understand why he hasn't been fired yet. He needs to be totally fired. Dirt ain't cheap, sir, just saying. Woo! DFW said ATL D-line is not good. A majority, it's a zone defense. Yes, I think we'll have some opportunities. Not putting it all on Dak, but no reason this offense shouldn't cook. I'm with you. I said the same thing. They should be able to cook on this offense a little bit. They're not a good pass rushing team. They're not in particularly great at stopping the run. You should be able to do some things on this team. They're not the greatest against the pass. If you get this running game going, you can get them on some play action. Besides the injuries and Jerry issues, could the problem be the Zeke issue? Yeah, you know what? I'm telling you, Carl, I think there's a meritocracy. I think there's a I was told something issue going on here. Because you just don't argue as hard when you know you've been beat. Unless, Jay Recruiter is giving some great points. Maybe he's arguing the same points that Jay Recruiter is making. Maybe he's making those same points. Andre said he scored the touchdown and he got yards and he's faster than Rico. You know what? Watch this. So I got 2 sons. Well, I got 4 sons, but 2 of them ran track. My one son was a touchdown machine in high school. He's taller, longer, and lanky. He's faster than my son, who, in my opinion, and they'll get mad when I say it, but I say it, my youngest son is shorter. He's shorter, but he's more athletic. He's quicker. But my other son, who's the second, the middle, he's faster, but he's not quicker. Now, if you put Rico and Zeke in a race straight down the field, Zeke is quicker. If it's about running smash mouth into somebody, Zeke is probably better. But if we're talking about quicker, Rico is quicker than Zeke. Zeke no longer has that twitch he had in them first 3 seasons. I mean, Zeke wasn't just fast. Zeke had a twitch to him. I mean, Zeke could hit you with a move and boom. He'd either make you miss, he'd run you over. And y'all remember, man, Zeke could hurdle people. I mean, I think he still got a little hurdle in him because he ran hurdles. So Zeke had that twitch. He don't have that twitch no more. I think he's still fast, but he's not quick. And one thing you need as a running back, you need to be quick. And I don't mean quick as in Barry Sanders quick and you juking and jiving and making guys fall over. But if you think about Derrick Henry, what I've noticed about Derrick Henry this year that has been so amazing. Derrick Henry, at his age, and if you look at his workouts, there's no wonder why he's still doing what he's doing. Boy, this dude, one move, stick that foot, boom, gone. Derrick isn't just running people over. And really, when you look at Derrick Henry, that's not really Derrick Henry's style. Derrick Henry hits that line, foot in, hits the hole, maybe make a move, and then he gone to the races. And then if somebody is in front of him, his stiff arm needs to be studied. His stiff arm needs to be studied. Man, he's bam. Man, they need to check and see if that dude got a bionic arm, man. This dude is still stiff arming dudes 3 and 4 yards in the air. Zeke, where he still has power, because we saw it in the San Francisco game, but at the same time, don't have that quickness. And that's why Zeke is now resorted more to running over smash mouth football on people. Rico, you can see it. Just watch Rico run. The Cowboys actually shouldn't be running Rico between the tackles. Spider-Man said it best this week. Side to side. Him and Dalvin Cook both. Use the whole field. Pitches, sweeps. Make that defense work with those two guys. Rico is definitely a quicker running back. He can make that move, make you miss one time, maybe even twice. Make a couple of spin moves. Zeke ain't that no more. And that's kind of where I think Zeke, he doesn't have that in his repertoire no more. And I think that's one of the reasons why he's not as good as he used to be. But that comes with age too. It is great that Zeke is not playing. We are not predictable now. Woo, boy, I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. Calvin Jefferson said, what's going on, Calvin? He said, this is why I don't want Zeke brought back. I knew this BS would happen. Woo, yes, because Jerry loved him some Zeke, just like some of the fans. I've heard some of the other YouTubers out there, man, they love Zeke. Oh, they love Zeke. I love Zeke too. Seems to be a good guy. But he can't be my starter. I can still use him. Can't be my starting running back. Yep, Roberta, sounds like the Cowboys have turned into a soap opera. But you know what I'm hoping? I'm hoping that this is just one in more moves to where we get away from the soap opera. I like Zeke, but if Rico comes out and does great tomorrow, that's all that matters. I think he is. Watch this, Jay Recruiter. You know why I think he's going to do better? Because now whoever has spoken, and I believe it's the coaches. I don't believe it's Jerry Jones. Because now it seems like, okay, now the matter is settled. I can go out here and I ain't got to worry about, watch this, Zeke not even traveling. Rico's mind going to be totally free now. I don't have to look at Zeke on the sideline. I don't have to feel funny talking to Zeke. We don't have to do none of that stuff. Man, I can play free now. I think tomorrow, I think Rico going to be out to prove something, y'all. I think Rico going to be out to prove something. He said we have to play smarter and harder. No doubt. Remember the TV series called Dallas was the greatest with JR, Jerry Jones ever, right? Boy, you better believe it. Jerry fit it to the T. Shoot, Jerry's a new J.R. Ewing. Andre, put Turpin in running back as well. Jet sweeps all day long. I'm telling you, Andre, Kevontae Turpin, I'm telling you, he'd never leave the field for me. I'm keeping that little joker in motion all day long. I'm going to have that defense nerve-wracked. Man, that little joker going to be missed out. Man, I'm going to have him running to the left. I got to play going to the right. I'm going to have him running to the right to play going to the left. I'm going to fake jet sweeps to him. I'm going to fake pitches to him. I'm going to fake screens to him. I'm going to have that little joker. Man, I'm going to wear Kevontae Turpin out, man, on that defense. Man, that defense is going to have to, man, what is this dude doing? And then when they fall asleep, then I'm going to hit him with one of them screens. I'm going to hit him with one of them jet sweeps. I'm going to hit him running straight down the field. Man, me and Mike McCarthy need to have a couple of conversations. We need to have a couple of conversations. I had that little joke before they Turpin killing it out there. Whenever an obvious throw, keep Lukey in. Oh, Lipke in. Man, Lipke, he's another one. Man, Lipke ain't leaving the field for me. If he not going to be lined up at fullback, he going to be lined up as a tailback. If he not lined up at the tailback, he going to be lined up at the tight end position. Man, Lipke ain't leaving the field for me. James, appreciate the super chat. James says, O-line don't do their job. Run game will not work. Watch this. If they stop running straight ahead, James, the running game will work. You know why it's not working? They're running straight ahead. Don't run straight ahead. Run sweeps, left, right. Pull those guards. Get those guys running in one direction. Put the tight end on that side. Let them guys take it to that defense. Because if you're going to try to go straight up against some of these defenses with these rookies, Tyler Guyton ain't going to make it for you. But if you get them jokers on the run, get them in that running game, get them running side to side, I promise you, this offensive line going to look different. They're going to look different. Hey, G, you think Jerry's working with Parsons to keep the news flowing? I'm finna close right here. Speaking of Parsons, before I get, hold on a second. The disrespect within this team needs to stop. Amen, Nisi. So much disrespect. So much all the way around. Just disrespect. Disrespect. Stephen A. definitely needs the Dallas Cowboys. He ain't nothing without him. And he know it. Cam Newton has been. He couldn't win a Super Bowl. He's just butthurt. You know what? You know what's strange about Cam Newton that I find to be so funny? Let me tell y'all something about Cam Newton. There was about 3 years in this league. We ain't going to talk bad about Cam Newton. Cam Newton for 3 years in this league. This dude was unstoppable. He was unstoppable, man. He was a battering ram. He was better than most running backs. Nice arm. Not a lot of accuracy. Nice arm. Cam was dangerous at the goal line. Do y'all know it's an absolute travesty? Do y'all realize, and I'm not saying this, I mean, just understand how I'm saying this. Do y'all realize that Cam Newton is an absolute physical specimen? Cam Newton is 6'5", 245 pounds. Chiseled. I've heard other football players say that when you see Cam Newton in person with his shirt off, and they're not, they're not saying that in that way, but when you see this dude in person with his shirt off and on the field playing, Cam Newton is a physical specimen. How in the world do you be out the league at 35? You're working for ESPN at 35? What? You couldn't beat out Matt Jones? What? Cam Newton, I'm telling y'all, Cam Newton, man, needs to be studied. How in the world is Kirk Cousins, who I think is 35, how in the world is he still in the league? It's insane. It's insane. No doubt, Dak saved that game against Pittsburgh. No doubt. Kind of off subject. When asked how we got so fast, Overshown said he had to chase Bijan Robinson in practice every day. He's another chance to chase him around this week. I think he's gonna be up for the task too. Overshown is the real deal. Who in the heck would want to trade for? I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Unless there's a team out there who says we just need a goal line specialist. I mean, I don't know who would. It's time for Rico to become a star. Yes, I agree. It's Rico's time. You have a great game, so you can play free now and get them yards. Yeah, you don't have to worry about Zeke. And I think this is a great thing the Cowboys are doing. It's finally one of the moves that I'm like, okay, we finally got somebody doing something that's right. But on that show, Dallas J. Hogan. Yeah, I remember, Roberta. Tire Cowboy said, got to be able to hit the top speed on the drop of a dime. Yep. Reggie said, Mike don't think like you. Yeah, I know Mike don't think like a lot of us. If the online blows the tackling and people get benched, then Mike has control. Well, you know what? I think the Ezekiel Elliot rule might be telling us something. But he might be caving to some of the media criticism. And Mike been putting it out there because I bet you everybody's asking who was the we he's talking about. When the Cowboys won the Jets against the 49ers, they sniffed it out. The 49ers looked like they knew what was coming. That's why you got to fake some of them things, 70s. That's why I would keep Cavante. Because, see, when you bring Cavante in, think about it. It's like, okay, they're bringing in Cavante Turpin. There's only about two things that Cavante Turpin can be doing. Have you noticed? That up the sideline play, that they'd seen that before. Jet sweep, seen that before. Putting him in the slot, in motion, slot, run out, seen that before. Got to put him in sometimes and don't actually do it. You got to get because they're watching tape too. And so when they're watching tape, you got to understand, we all got to understand, everybody has everybody's tape. So when teams say, okay, I know your tendency, you go, okay, they think they know our tendencies. So what we're going to do, Andy Reid's a master at this. Andy Reid will line up in a formation that he's been doing a certain play out of. Andy Reid is a master at this. He'll line up in a play he's been running, and everybody thinks they know the play that he's running. Andy Reid will fake that play, and he'll hand it off. He'll throw it to someone else who he hasn't even thrown it to in that situation. Andy Reid is a master at throwing people off because this is what teams are doing. They're trying to go with your tendencies. So when they think they know your tendencies, guess what you do? You fake your tendencies and then you do something else. So you think about when Cavante Turpin comes in, I already know what he's going to do. If you line him up in the backfield, okay, jet sweep. You line him up in the slot, okay, I know what he's about to do. He's going to run in motion, and then he's going to run up, run out. I know what he's going to do. Oh, wait a minute. He's going to line up on the left side. Oh, saw this before. He's going to run up the left sideline. Dak going to try to look off the safety to the right, then he's going to throw the Cavante Turpin on the left. You got to do it a little bit different. Now you got to bring in Cavante Turpin and say, okay, we're going to line him up on the left. They think we're going to do it. We're going to look to Cavante Turpin, and then we're going to throw it to somebody on the right. Simple stuff. Simple stuff. Show people the same look. Do something different. It's called deception. It's called deception. The Queen said, do you think Bosa going to get fined and suspended? Oh, nah. Not going to get, it'll be a little talk. No one's going to care about it. Dak Prescott says the season will be a great game tomorrow and no interceptions and 4 touchdowns. I think Dak's going to ride to the occasion. He better. I would rather win tomorrow and get asked about Trayvon and Micah than lose tomorrow and get asked about Trayvon and Micah. So I'm going to close right here. Spider-Man says the rest of this season is about separating the wheat and the chaff. Yes, to know who they are building with next year. And you just gave me to my closing point. So I'm going to ask y'all a question. With everything that's transpired this week, do y'all think it's time to make a trade at the trade deadline? Do y'all remember the Herschel Walker trade from 1989? That trade set the Dallas Cowboys up for almost 10 years. You know what I would like to see? I would like to see the Dallas Cowboys do something unexpected at the trade deadline on Tuesday. I would like to see the Dallas Cowboys trade Micah Parsons and Trayvon Diggs. And I like both of those players. But I'll be honest with you. And I think if those players are honest with themselves, I'll be honest with you. I don't think they like being on the Dallas Cowboys. And if they do, to me, they're definitely not acting like it. Because you cannot go out and disrespect your quarterback the way they have disrespected Dak Prescott and have not come out yet and to clear up or clarify what they said. Instead, they're sitting back and they watch the media on Friday make total fun of Dak Prescott. If I would have been Micah Parsons and they would have been doing my quarterback like that based on something that I said and I didn't mean it the way that I said it, or it didn't come out the way that I wanted it to come out, I would have immediately come right back out on X. I would have immediately come back out and I would have said, no, y'all are wrong. Dak Prescott is my quarterback. He is not a top 5 quarterback in my book. He is the number 1 quarterback in my book. And the reason why I didn't mention Dak Prescott, because I'm biased when it comes to Dak Prescott. There is nobody better in this league to me. I have been in the trenches with this man. I know what kind of man he is. He leads this team. He's the leader of this team. So forgive me. Y'all can shut your mouth now, because you're dragging it, as the young folks say. You're dragging it. Dak Prescott is our quarterback. He's the number 1 quarterback in my eyes. He's more than a top 10 quarterback. He's the number 1 quarterback in this league. And there is no doubt I have that Dak Prescott can and will take us to a Super Bowl. Can't wait to get back on the field with him. Can't wait to get back on the field with him to help him win. I hate that I'm not going to be a part of the win that I know he's going to lead us to against the Atlanta Falcons this weekend. Man, y'all dragging it. Dak's my quarterback. Micah Parsons ought to do that. Still hadn't done it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he still hasn't done it. He's letting people, and it's dumb. It was dumb what he did. It's dumb what Trayvon Diggs did, especially how they were on the podcast talking about how the local Dallas media brings more negativity to the team than the national media, but then you're bringing negativity to your own team because you got people out here guessing, talking about they have no confidence. I've been seeing people say this. Oh, they have no confidence in Dak Prescott, and they're mad because Dak Prescott got this contract, and they're mad about this and mad about that, and all. Come out. Come out. Don't hide. I say when a man say something, then well, say it with your chest. If you're being misrepresented, then you come out and you say, no, you're wrong. That's not how we meant it. And we apologize to Dak. We apologize to our team. We were not thinking when we said what we said. I mean, we were just coming out the top of the dome. We're not talking about Dak because for us, Dak is the exception. He is number 1 in our eyes. They need to do it. And they're just sitting back while folk are talking mess about Dak Prescott. And then if Dak Prescott loses, if that team loses tomorrow, they're going to continue to sit back as people ride what they said. And this is why that Trayvon and Michael said what they said, because look at how Dak performed. It's stupid. It's stupid. And if I was Jerry Jones, I'd be having a serious talk with Micah Parsons and Trayvon Diggs. You want to show people you're not playing? You sat Zeke down this week. Hey, y'all don't understand. That's a monumental move for the Dallas Cowboys. That's monumental. So now let's really get serious. Have a talk with Micah Parsons and Trayvon Diggs. Ask him, do you still want to be on this team? Because if you want to be on this team, I'm going to ask you to do a couple of things. Micah, I'm not going to go as far as say to shut your podcast down, but what I am going to tell you is I need you to stop talking about anything that pertains to the Dallas Cowboys. It's going to bring any negativity. Anything. And I'd put it in his contract. If we're going to sign you, Micah, no podcast except in the offseason. No podcast going during the season. See, Jerry can't do that now because they didn't put that in the contract. But I would put that in his new contract. No podcast. No podcast during the season, Mike. None. We want you to totally focus on football. We're not going to pay you $100 million to work for the Bleacher Report. Are we not paying you enough money? Trayvon Diggs, do you still want to play for this team? Because if you don't, we'll trade you. We'll trade you while you got some value. We'll trade you. Jerry Jones should make that trade. If those two guys don't want to play for this team, trade them. Trade them. That's all it is to it. There's a saying that goes around, don't keep people that don't want to be kept. Sometimes women do this nonsense, trying to keep a man that don't want to be kept, letting them cheat on them. Don't let no man cheat on you. Don't be in the keeping business. Don't be in the babysitting business. Man don't want to be with you, let him go. Same thing for a man. Don't run behind a woman. Don't try to keep her. She don't want to be kept. Well, then you can't keep her. Let her go. Jerry, got a great opportunity. You saying you're rebuilding the team? You soft rebuild? Boy, you'll send a statement to the world. We making changes up in here. We about to make some changes. We're going to bring in a new coach, a young-minded offensive coordinator. Al Harris going to be our defense coordinator. And we're going to get a coaching staff that's going to be second to none. And we coming out next year, and we coming out firing. We coming out on fire next year. I'm telling you, it's got a great opportunity. Reggie, I'm telling you, trade them. They got great value right now. Trade them. Because they don't seem to want to be on the team. Trade them. They love Dan Quinn so much. Don't even trade them to Dan Quinn. Trade them to the NFC. Trade them to the AFC. Trade them to the AFC team. So you ain't got to see them but maybe once in a blue moon. Trade them. And then let them trade them. But I'm telling you, Jerry has a great opportunity right now. You really want to show people you trying to make some serious changes? Man, trade them jokers for some first-round draft picks. Watch how everybody react. Nisi says, the more I think about what he did on that podcast, it was intentional. My wife said the same thing today. Wasn't the hanging out all summer with the quarterback of the Texans? Trade him. I bet you the Texans will give you a number 1 draft pick for him. I bet you they give you a first and a second for him. First in 2025, a second in 2026. Trade him. I would. You ain't got to see the Houston Texans that much. Every blue moon. Trade him. Trayvon Diggs, trade him. You see how Deron Bland is playing? There are going to be some show-enough corners. I can't wait till we start talking about, a lot of people are already talking about the draft. We're not going to do that. I'm not erasing this team yet. Folks be erasing this team too quick. I'm not erasing this team. This team can still win. This team can still get 10 wins. Folks, some of them not going to win no more than 3 more. Man, get out of here with that nonsense. This team is good enough to still win 10 games. You know why? Because Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb are still on that offense. And all Mike McCarthy got to do is just use what he has. Jerry Jones, let this man cook. Let him really do what if he can do it, let him do it. Suspend Zeke. Cut Zeke if you have to. Man, let this man cook. I'm out of here. Spider-Man, appreciate you, brother. 1999 Super Chat. Hey, have a blessed Sunday. Jesus is Lord. Amen. I'll be preaching in the pulpit tomorrow. I'll be in the pulpit preaching rather than out here preaching. But I'll be back. We're going to talk after the post game. After the game tomorrow. We'll talk after the game tomorrow. Can't wait. I'll probably talk a little bit after the game and then probably going to do a late night show. So that's going to do it for me, y'all. That's going to be my time. Appreciate all of y'all, man. Got a lot of things coming. I keep saying it, but trust me, I'm going to try my best to make this the best Dallas Cowboy, not competing with anybody. But I just believe that you just try to do the best that you can. I'm going to try to make this the best Dallas Cowboy community on all of YouTube and social media. And I want y'all to help me build it. Can't do it without y'all. So that's going to do it for me. That's going to be my time. If you like this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you'll know the next time Let's Talk Cowboys post another video where we talk facts. Peace.